Welcome back to the podcast, The Writer's Block. It's me, Todd, and with me, Andy. Today, today we're going to talk about writing. But you didn't guess that. What are you talking about today, Andy?
Got a couple topics. I think the biggest one is bookstores versus libraries, um, and then with incorporating the used book idea as well into all of that, because there's pros and cons of supporting both libraries and bookstores that we'll touch into a little bit later. But it's a good topic to kind of talk about today.
true, true. But before we get too deep into that, do you have any new stories available, perhaps on the
I,
internet?
I do have the third, for now, final part of my. I've been calling it my irrational series. It's called Chasen. It was by the time this is this is dropped. It's been out for about 2 weeks. But so people have been telling me that uh, it should continue, and the parts of me is like, I don't know if I should have it continue or not. But
Yeah, well,
I need some more people to read it and let me know if they feel it hasn't ended properly or the ending is, you know, good enough. Because
I
again, I
mean,
don't know.
as someone who read it, I would say I will say that the ending is very ambiguous. It's very much a cliffhanger, you know. So
Because
it's
part of me is like, how much more can you use on, you know, how much can you squeeze out of what's going on or whatever, what the topic is? Because it's interesting to see what people think the topic is about, because I don't really say what it's about.
yeah, yeah,
So it's up for interpretation.
true, true. Well, hopefully we'll get some new stories in the future. But if we don't, either way, it was a really good series, really good trilogy. Perhaps a beginning of something much bigger.
Yeah, we never know. I could, have it'd be tough to. I've thought about a couple ideas to have that
Mhm.
continue by still leaving it ambiguous, but I don't know, can you incorporate, like, how there's the prequel, or there's a prequel, can you incorporate like a mini story in between, like the second
Oh
and
yeah,
third part?
yeah,
Okay.
easily.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, I say I say do it. I also say if anyone watching or listening has read any of these short stories and wants this to happen, let this guy know.
That would be nice. That's like the main purpose of my website, is
Yeah,
to
tell
be
him to forget
told.
about his novel and just keep making these stories.
That would
That's
be,
the
yeah.
real gold.
That could be it too, because my novel is about 8 pages and kind of stuck. But
Don't give up on the novel. Just
I'm
keep.
not going to give up on it. But this
it, it-
side project could be a good distraction.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're kind of stuck on a novel, might as well just break out of it, get into some new terrain, and then when you go back into it, maybe you'll have reinvigorated sense of story
Yeah,
or something, you know. But
that's also true.
yeah.
Any new stories on your end? Anything that you would like to promote?
Well,
Because we like to promote a lot of my stuff, but not a lot of your
well,
stuff.
I have written quite a lot over the last several weeks, couple months. Unfortunately, it's all for school related stuff, so none of it would be all that interesting, I would guess, unless you are fascinated by political stuff and crap like that. So at the moment, nothing new, but you never know. If I ever do have something, I usually throw it on my website, which you can find at www.toddbyron.com. It's sometimes I put stuff there, but I don't do a whole lot while I'm in school. Too much other stuff, but yeah, trust me though, I'll make sure to say it when I'm on here. I'll do the uh, shameless marketing and stuff like that.
Still got
But
to figure out how to do that without feeling like you're bothering people.
I mean, it's you have to look at your social media as not just a personal, thing, but more of a business thing. And so you have to kind of remove yourself from it in a way and think of it more
That's
as
true.
my followers are potential customers. And you don't want to annoy them, but you also want to give them something to buy,
Exactly.
so to speak.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So not that I've mastered that at all, but you know, theoretically that's how it would work. But speaking of novels, where do you get your novels at, Mr. Andy?
Mostly, well, for right now is the library that's down the street from me. I haven't been to a bookstore in probably 2 years. And the last bookstore I was into was a Barnes and Noble. So I don't know if that really counts.
I mean, technically.
Actually, no, that's a lie. I was in a small bookstore in Dunedin a few months back. Yeah.
You remember the name?
No.
Uh,
It just happened to be we were just walking past it. And we
yeah.
went in there. But it was not it was a nice little bookstore in there. Um from what I can remember. I don't know, did I buy anything? I did buy a book, but it wasn't for me.
Uh,
Don't remember what the book was called either. I was it was
sounds like it wasn't a
June.
memorable moment.
It was it was in May or June.
I haven't been to a bookstore in years. The last one I went to was a Barnes and Noble, and
Yeah, see, do you even count that, or is because that's a chain? Like, is that
it's a
considered
store that sells books. So I mean, I would say it's not a
well,
local
then,
bookstore or a
I
mom
mean,
and pop bookshop, but
so Target's technically a bookstore.
I mean, Barnes and Noble
Publix
like
is
Barnes and Noble like they
so it's got to
specialize
be a
in
store
books.
that specializes in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's how Target's a general store. I mean, a lot of places sell books, but Barnes and Noble sells only books. Although I will say, when I went to Barnes and Noble, I only bought a Frappuccino from Starbucks, which happened to be inside the building. So I didn't actually buy a book there. So
Okay,
just
well,
wanted to throw that out there. That's
so
my experience with Barnes and Noble. Although I did actually, the one purchase that I know for a fact that I made or my mom made for me was To Kill a Mockingbird. I think she got it for me when I was in ninth grade because it was required school reading. So same Barnes and Noble
okay.
that I got the coffee from, in case anyone was wondering. But yeah, I will say like the bookstore that I've actually been to the most, probably more than anywhere, is I don't know why I'm only just now remembering it, but it's 321 Books. It's in Tyrone Mall.
It's not there anymore.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's devastating news. Uh, they had wow, okay, that's unfortunate. They had really cheap books. I used to donate old books that I had to that place because they sold them pretty cheaply. All used books too. I mean, I don't think they had many new things. That's unfortunate. That's
Sorry. All right.
I'm
I happened to be in the Tyrone Mall going to GNC, and it's right next to that 302, and
I'm
it's
mourning
a
this in real time right now.
it's a
This is
game store now. It's a
game store.
board game, I think, stuff like that.
Oh, well, that'll be gone in a couple months too, I guess. Well,
Sorry to rain on your parade.
yeah, well, I I feel like if I'm gonna buy, I mean, I'll say this: if I'm gonna buy books, I would rather buy local. Although I also prefer to buy used books because usually they're cheaper, and that's a good way to save money. Because if you want to buy a brand new paperback, it's going to be $20, or a hardcover is like $40, or depending on what the book is, especially if it's a book for school, that's going to be pretty expensive. But at the same time, buying used books when it comes to authors, like independent authors, like us, I guess you could say, buying it used kind of in a way stops. It's a way of like the author doesn't receive any money when you buy a used book. So the best way to support an indie author that isn't well established is to buy a book brand new from them. If that makes any sense.
No, it does because
Yeah.
it's you don't get the resale value.
Yeah, because like
Pretty much what you're saying.
yeah, like as a, I mean, I think the same. Well, yeah, it's pretty much like if you're an indie author, you're not, you know, you're not gonna make any money off of used books. So, but also like I don't know that many. Like I don't think any of my books are on eBay, you know, or any used bookstore because I've only sold like 7. But for people that have gotten a little bit farther, like there are still indie authors that have sold quite a few books, but that still aren't like extremely well off, and who miss out on that opportunity of sales through used books. But at the same time, used bookstores and libraries do make it easier for those authors to reach new audiences that they might not have otherwise been able to achieve or get to.
That,
Catch
you
my
know,
drift.
yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, it's tough for me because I also am very well, I guess not established, but promote the library system a lot. That was my first ever job, and I was my mom's a part of the library back at home in New York, and the local library that in our town, and I was I was helping one of these new groups like promote their new like form their them forming together to like help promote the library too. Uh, and then when the city was trying to shut down the library for it had to do with taxes, so there was a vote. So I was a part of like the I'm trying to think of the word.
Protest group.
No, not the protest group. That's promoting the library to show that it's not just a name on your taxes, that it's more than that, that it's
Yeah.
you could go in there if you don't have like access to a computer, you can go use a computer, or if you
Yeah.
don't have access to internet, you do that. You don't have access to certain books that you can't really afford to buy,
Yeah. I mean, that
especially for
is,
research, doing research group like projects for high school. I was in there a lot
yeah. I mean,
because
I will say,
the high school library didn't have as much that you needed, so you went to the library and you could find stuff.
yeah,
And it's
libraries do
important to know the Dewey Decimal System too.
the Dewey Decimal System. It is very important. I was gonna say, libraries are. Oh, yeah, I had something that I lost it. Yeah, libraries are cool. They help people that are, you know, underprivileged, don't have access to either the technology or the internet that they need to get projects done, or you know, the financial ability to get some of the books that are out there. I used to go to the St. Pete Public Library back when, you know, a long time ago, and you know, it's nice to have that, at least to have that opportunity to be able to know that you can go somewhere if you need to access a plethora of books, both fiction, nonfiction, historical, whatever. So, but yeah, I haven't been to a library in a long time now. I I personally get most of my books online, yeah, on eBay, as I mentioned before. But
I go
I do think it's important to keep libraries.
I try to go once or twice a month. I've been I have a couple books right now. I have to finish one up before Tuesday because it's only a 2 weeker, but then I got to return them. You get more, but I mean, it's convenient for me too because it's right down the street. It's off.
Oh yeah,
So, and I don't want to sound like I'm campaigning or anything, but the library card is free. You only need one or two. You need two uh, forms of identification to prove that you actually live here. So, like your license and then a piece of mail that has your billing address or your mail address on it.
all right. Yeah, my
So it's really easy.
the main library I used to go to, I think, is actually currently closed because they found asbestos in the entire building. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so
That
rip.
that's not good.
Yeah, I can't go to 321 Books. I can't go to the St. Pete Library.
Well,
What will I do?
can-
There's a number of, at least in St. Pete, there's a number of small bookstores, or like local bookstores that are pretty cool. I know there's, I think one place is called Tombolo Books or something like that. It's closer to downtown, but they have a pretty big warehouse or something like it full of used books. I've never made it there, but I've always wanted to make the pilgrimage. One day I'll probably do it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it until you said it
Oh, really?
just now. I've never, yeah, no. I don't think I've only been to that one bookstore in Dunedin, and that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, around here anyway. There was a bookstore at home called Mysteries on Main Street. If you can guess what street that was on,
Couldn't guess.
that was cool. That was cool, and there was always it was always messy in there though. You could always there was always not messy like it was all there were always books on the floor
Yeah.
in that sense. And then they
Yeah.
had knickknacks too. It always looked, yeah, it was always looked like and then the back counter where you checked out always had stuff just scattered everywhere. So it was very unorganized, but it still works.
Yeah. I mean, are they
Bookshelves
still
were,
open?
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, as far as I know, I didn't hear that they closed down. I know businesses around them, like on the same the same strip, closed down. But
Ah,
so
well,
I guess the question is what do you find? Which one's more important to society? Would you say?
like libraries or bookstores?
Yeah,
To society as a whole. I mean, they're two like very different things. Like public libraries are like it's public, it's sponsored, it's but subsidized by the government. It's something available for everyone. Whereas bookstores are private entities. Only those who have the funds to purchase the books can purchase the books. So by those metrics, libraries would be more beneficial to people, I would say, for a whole number of reasons. It's whatever books they have are available to everyone. All they have to do is prove residence. So that would be my take on that.
I because and then then like they play a devil's advocate. Bookstores, they help bring revenue to the town and bring people in from a
Yeah,
lot of places, to check it out too. So it's tough because you need both, but then they're offsetting each other in a way because you're taking away like where say a new book comes out by your favorite author and it's going to cost you $35. You can wait or you can get it when it releases into the bookstore, or you can wait an extra 2 weeks when the library gets it.
yeah,
And it becomes available and you can get it and read it in 2 weeks for free compared to spending the $35 and maybe not having to rush through it. So it's a catch-22 really.
yeah. I mean, now if I had to pick one over the other, I'd probably just stick with libraries, just because it's more beneficial to like all of society. I feel like. And granted, you might have to wait for that new book, because I can
Yeah,
imagine there's going to be a few people wanting to read it.
I was gonna say there's definitely a waiting list for probably some of them.
Yeah, I mean, also I feel like library stores, I or places like Barnes and Noble, or there's another chain. Was it called Borders, or I don't remember exactly, but um, I don't know how they can even survive. Since just as an indie author, I mean, you can sell your books on your own website or through other third-party websites and get more a larger percentage of the profits and the revenue and all that stuff. So it's like bookstore, like actual bookstores, physical locations, or big box retail bookstores, whatever they call them. I don't see how they're even able to exist. I mean, even used bookstores. It's, I'm surprised that they are still profitable. I guess. I mean, I guess not all of them are, obviously, but like 321 wasn't too profitable. But
Well, and then you have I don't know if you really call them bookstores or like kiosks in the airports too, where you can buy a paperback or you can buy books there
yeah,
too at different airports. I actually
yeah,
have a book from the Baltimore international airport. I don't have it. I don't have it right next to me, but uh, that was like 10. It was a paperback. I think it was only $10.
That's uh, that's actually not too bad.
Yeah, no. So because when you said paperbacks are starting to become more expensive, I guess the ones I've seen haven't
Oh,
been that.
Yeah, I just kind of threw out a number.
Okay.
Um, I mean, like it ranges. I think my on Amazon, my first novel as a paperback, I think is only like $12. But I mean, it depends on the number of pages and stuff like that. At least for Amazon. When it comes to other books, I'm not entirely sure. I I don't really buy too many brand new books, so
No, I haven't really. I haven't bought. I think the last one I bought was a James Patterson one. That was 8 months ago, I think.
yeah.
And I bought it at a grocery store,
Oh, really?
not a bookstore. Yeah.
Yeah. Which grocery store?
The one I work at.
Yeah, I do forget the Publix has a little book section.
Yeah, I just happened. I don't know what I was doing, but I happened to see it, and I was like, "Oh, let's try it," because they had good reviews on it.
Yeah, they
But
always do seem to have like the top 30 best-selling novels of the time or
yeah,
something like that. Whatever the big ones are, the ones that are most likely to be purchased, I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll
So I haven't.
probably always be a used book person, unless it's from an author that I really like or whatever. Then I'll buy it brand new as a way of supporting them, stuff like that. But
Yeah, because again, it's all like, especially seeing it from our vantage point, it's definitely good to support one another, especially if you have a piece of work that you're really proud of and trying to get it out there.
hey, one way to support you and and I'm talking to the audience here. If you want to support us, we have these T-shirts available
I still
at
need to.
Teespring.
Yes, I need to order one of those. Still,
Yeah, yeah, we have to rep our merch.
I do.
But
Uh, so,
or buy
well,
the books also.
that I need to publish something first. You
Yeah,
can buy
that would
your.
help. Yeah,
That would, yeah. I mean, three. My irrational series is not very long, so you can't really publish that.
yeah. I mean, you could set up a PayPal, and people could just sort of donate and stuff like that. That's something that people do. A
I,
number of like musical artists do that, and so
I don't
forth.
know. I don't know anybody off the top of my head that would donate to read to read a
Well,
3-page short story
the donation would just be
just
a
to
way of
feel good.
supporting, not for
Yeah,
anything in return.
that's true.
But I mean, this is an idea, it's a possibility.
I should try.
Or we can work on a novel or a compilation of short stories, perhaps.
That, yep, that too. Or I just create more content around the three main stories that I have, still leaving it ambiguous, but having stuff pop up in between. That could be
That
something.
that is an idea.
Because then you can have it in your local bookstore and in your local library.
Something I was wanted to do was actually just order a bunch of my books off of Amazon and then drop them off at bookstores. Like, there's a couple local businesses that there's one I know of in particular that if you give them your book, they'll put it on their shelf, and it's like, wow, why not? You know, somebody will buy it. Hopefully,
That's a good
maybe.
idea.
I mean, I think I told you about it, but there's somebody that I used to work with who they wrote a book, and now that I think about it, I should probably try to get in contact with them. But they wrote a book and then brought it to this place, and there's like 3 copies sitting on the shelf there. I saw it last time I went to this. Well, it's Emerald City in St. Pete or Clearwater, wherever it's at now, and yeah, yeah, gotta seek all opportunities and take advantage of it.
And then you should drop one off at the library too. A couple libraries to have them. See if they do
That
that. I wonder if they
that's
do that. I wonder how the
probably.
process is to get like a
I mean, if it's a
book
free
into a
book,
library system. Into a library system.
so if it's a free book, they'll probably take it, throw it on the shelf somewhere.
I feel like there's a process though, because then you got to be putting in a library, like you got to be putting in the system.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably review
The
it,
book anyway. Yeah.
make sure there's, you know, make sure it's suitable for audiences or whatever, wherever, whatever genre it ends up at. Yeah, I mean, it's another thing worth looking into. Well, this goes deeper into marketing, stuff like that.
Yeah, it all ties to marketing. Just
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what dictates success is good marketing,
yeah,
and that is something that I think I should really work on. I think I can imagine most indie authors probably have to work on it because
yeah. I
it is almost a full time job. Like to realistically market your works to a giant population. You know, you want to. You're talking about daily social media activity on every available platform. You're talking YouTube videos, probably interviews if you can. You know, trying to get everything you can do to get your name out there, to get your work out there. Search engine optimization. There's so much involved, and all the things that I don't even know about,
yeah.
which I'm
Well,
sure when it comes to marketing, there's quite a bit.
I think it helps with you because you have again something published, so you can bring it to these places or have
Yeah,
send it to these places and be like, hey, look at this is a book. Put it on your shelf, please.
yeah. So hey, just put this on your shelf. See if somebody buys it or somebody reads it.
Checks it out. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it'd be
mean,
interesting to see. I wonder if
I
got to
will
be some
say,
sort of data sheet or something to show like a graph of how many times an author like a book has been checked out
probably.
to,
I'm
to
sure there's
see.
a. I'm sure every single book has its own history,
Yeah,
but because like for me personally, I'm not really when it comes to like my works out there now. I'm not focused on trying to make money. I'm just trying to focus on broadening my reach. You know, getting like I think every 6 months or so, like you have these certain, um, I forget what they're called. On Kindle Direct Publishing, for your books, you can do these deals or whatever. You can do like 50% off or free for a certain amount of time. And I try to make it free every couple of months or whatever, whenever I can, because there's a limit, of course, because Amazon wants to make money themselves. But I try to make it free as often as I can, just so that people will look at it and maybe they'll leave a review and say, yeah, this is good, or maybe not, who knows. But all I know is it's people are. I mean, it sucks, but people are a lot more likely to read my books if they don't have to pay for it. So um, the
very
idea is
true.
that maybe if they like it, they'll buy the next one, or they'll follow me on social media and they'll keep an eye out for another book in the same genre or so forth. And that's the idea right now is just build an audience and then try to monetize it in the future at some point. But you have to have customers before you can make any sales.
Hey, you got to have the audience.
So, and it's not easy when you have so many uh, competitors in the field. But
And then trying to figure out the best times. We go back to that too.
yeah, yeah,
Best
that's
time
actually
to promote your stuff. When? What
yeah,
day?
yeah, yeah. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking about when's the best time to actually release this podcast. The whether is it the best time on Friday or in the afternoon, or is it maybe it's Monday morning? I mean, views are, they're kind of consistent. So I'm hesitant to really change it up, but I can't help but wonder if maybe a different time would have different results and so forth. But yeah,
I
I
know
don't
it's
know.
yeah, it's,
A lot of it has to go. A lot of it's luck, or what's it called, Fortuna. Whether it's good or
yeah.
bad.
We went off a little off topic there, but
I mean, that's
that's the way it goes.
yeah,
I mean, it's all. You realize that it's just everything connects back to it all. It starts with the right. It starts with the inspiration, goes into the writing, goes into the finished product, goes into sending it to a bookstore or a library or online, and it goes into promoting yourself, and then the process starts all over again. That's all it is.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's
it's
one long, terrible cycle.
it's not terrible when you can when you're created something that has impressed other
But
people.
it's only terrible if you want to try to make money off of it.
That yes, that's the
Yeah,
consistently terrible part. And seeing
and if
like
you don't have the connections.
that and seeing that something that you feel like you've like done really well on not really pop off as much as you would like it to.
Yeah.
Yet
Yeah.
that's why I continuously plug my trilogy on this podcast and
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, for my first book, I mean, we're kind of going really off topic from where we were, but my first book, I put a lot of money into it because I thought money equals good outcome. And, it's been 3 years and I still haven't made probably 5% of my money back. Oh, when it comes to like cover designs and uh, editing and all that crap. Not to say that it wasn't worth it, because I did learn, like, at the very least, I learned a lot of valuable information through the editors that I hired. They, I learned a lot, and stuff that actually still affects my new writings even till today. So, but yeah, not easy to make money.
That's why you got to have a job on the side,
Yeah.
and then you try not to be exhausted from that job, so you can come home and work on your other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. The real key is don't have a job, don't have any schoolwork.
Don't have a job, don't have any bills, don't have any schoolwork.
Yeah, there's a whole lot.
There's God.
Such as the life of an indie author.
Because I mean, you could start our own bookstore and just have your published work in it. I don't think we'd make. I don't think
I
we'd
was
make
gonna
the first
say
month's rent.
I'd have 4 books. We would close up shop very quick. Very quick. Unless, of course, we no, yeah, it wouldn't work out.
I think your task at hand now is to drop off a couple books at like those places, and then try one library and see what they would do, and then report back to us. Because now I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look into it. I'll add it to my to-do list. I'll do it by the end of the year for sure. Probably.
Hopefully.
Yeah, maybe not. Honestly, I don't want to say that I'm extremely lazy, but after a week's worth of work and schoolwork, I don't feel like doing anything.
That's also very true. That's very fair.
Yeah, but that's not how you get ahead in life. You gotta actually keep going.
Keep going. Keep plugging.
Yeah.
Keep promoting yourself constantly.
Yeah.
Keep writing.
True that. Well, I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for this one. Unless anything else you want to add to libraries or?
No, I just continue to support your local bookstores and libraries. Try to do both. Make it a goal to buy one book from your local bookstore and get your library card.
Well, here's a question before we go. Is it preferable to buy the book from your local bookstore or directly from an author's website? Because what do you really want? Who do you want to finance better? Like who do you want to finance more, the author or this, company or entity that's trying to profit off the author? Because you want to support the author mostly, right?
You got to see what the percentage cut is, I guess.
No one's gonna look at that. They're gonna think, who's gonna go to that? Nobody's gonna check that.
You technically want to support both because you have your author who's trying to make money, but you also have a local small business owner that's trying to make a living too.
What about what was that one place? Barnes and Noble. You want to support Barnes and Noble?
When you don't, that's a tough question, man. What's your answer?
To what?
You're gonna buy straight from the source, or you're gonna go to a middle person?
It depends, actually. Sometimes, so to be honest, the last time I bought a new book, they didn't have their own store. It was through Amazon that they sold their books. Oh, also through probably like Barnes and Noble and other places like that. So if they don't offer it directly from their own website or their own company, then I'll probably go to Amazon. They have a lot of books on there. Yeah, I don't really buy much in stores other than groceries. Like I don't really buy my clothes in stores anymore. I buy books in stores. I'm one of those people. I don't even buy my gasoline at gas stations.
I have to try my clothes on before I can purchase them to make sure they fit.
I mean, I try them on when I get them.
So
If they don't fit, I take them in.
No, that's too much. That's one extra step that I don't need to do.
Think of it like this: like you go to the store and you try it on, then you buy it and bring it home. I ordered online, I get it at my house. I try it on, it fits, cool, nothing more. It doesn't fit. Oh dang! Now I have to go to an Amazon locker down the road and just throw it in there. I hate to be pro Amazon because they are kind of
Monopoly.
yeah, they're kind of yikes. They're that company that you see in dystopian movies or novels where they control 80% of the industries that are in operation in the country. They're gonna be that evil company in like what Blade Runner or something like that, or wherever. I mean, but yeah, now we're way off topic.
That's way off. Now we're not even talking about literature or books already. We're talking about clothing and Amazon.
Yeah, we should probably just end it here.
Shut her down.
Yeah, let's get off this boat. So follow us on our social media. You can find it in the YouTube channel or on the Spotify channel, wherever you're listening or watching. Check out Andy's new story on his Wix page, which is also linked on the YouTube channel, and I will link the story itself in the description down below or wherever the description is on Spotify. And
check out make sure you read them in order.
Yeah, read them in order.
Stress this enough, please.
Yeah, it's
if you read the third one first, they're gonna be like, it's gonna take away the whole ambience of the thing.
I'll link all three in the description. So you have irrational, you have what's the second one? I forgot it already.
I made it,
and then you have chasing it. All right. So we're gonna have those three in the description below. Unless I forget, but I won't forget because I have paper and I'll write it down. All right. So
make sure to check out Todd's website as well. His writing, buy his book, buy yourself a t-shirt, both the writer's block, and he has his own merch too.
Yeah, but the merch makes no sense unless you've read the book. So
read the book first.
Yeah. So or wait for it to go free. It'll happen eventually. So either way, it's a way of supporting an author, in my opinion. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Writer's Block.